New Year's resolutions and 2021 goals. So my tip number one, tip number two for you. Tip number three, now this one's quite simple, but I think a lot of people overlook it, and that is what's up guys, welcome to today's video. What is your problem? As per usual, he's ready to go for a WALK. Guys, I'm testing out this new microphone today, just for this clip. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it all day or not, but if this sound quality sucks, then let me know, because this is the microphone I'm gonna use for my educational scenes going into my app, which is for the 12-week challenge live for all my clients starting January 11th. I thought I'd just get that plug out of the way. Anyway, today's video is going to be all about 2021 goals, New Year's resolutions, and how I recommend you should plan your goals moving forward. Roxy looks so mad. Got my caffeinated beverage and we are outside the gym ready to hit shoulders and back. So before we do that though, I just want to touch on quickly New Year's resolutions and 2021 goals. So the studies do show that the vast majority of New Year's resolutions do fail. Now, my recommendations for kind of getting around this, or making sure your New Year's resolutions or whatever your 2021 goals are don't fail. Now for starters, I'd recommend making SMART goals. If you're unaware what they are, it's basically, this is a whole separate video, but in short, SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. Pretty sure that's correct. I'll pop it on the screen anyway. But that's how I set all my goals, and I do set goals yearly, but also monthly and weekly as well. And they're not necessarily goals, they're more like habits and little boxes that you tick off. But my recommendations for your 2021 goals would be to try and create new habits. So for example, this is out of a book I read called Atomic Habits. So again, this is research stuff. It's not just me making stuff up off the top of my head, and I've tried it on myself and clients. And most of the time it works pretty well if you can do it. So my tip number one for your new habits would be to swap a bad habit for a good habit, because the studies show you can't just get rid of a habit. It never works. It works way better if you swap ones. For example, if you want to try and stop drinking Coke, my recommendation for clients and for myself would be to swap it for Coke Zero. And then if you want to try and stop drinking Coke Zero, then you would again swap that for maybe like a herbal tea or whatever it is. You guys get the point. So that's tip number one. Don't try and just take a bad habit away. You have to try and swap it with another better habit. So we'll see you after this session for tips 2 and 3 on how to create better habits and actually achieve your 2021 goals. Okay guys, tip number 2 for you. So tip number 2 I'm going to give you to keeping your goals actually achievable in 2021 is habit stacking. Now habit stacking is basically where you take a current habit or current few habits and you place your new one in between, before, after, whatever it is. For example, I want to start jogging in the new year. Well, if you say that, I'm sure you know that the likelihood of that happening is probably not going to happen. If you say, I'm going to start jogging in between my morning coffee and before I check my emails, then that is much, much more likely to happen. Just to touch on that last tip again, because I forgot to add something. With the habit stacking, you want to do this with 2 or more habits that are really, really drilled into your daily or weekly routine. So for example, things like brushing your teeth, making your bed, if that's something you do every single day, things that you do basically on autopilot, you don't have to think about. Those are the kind of habits you want to use to bring in your new habits. So like I said before, going for a jog, that's if having a morning coffee and checking your daily emails is something you do every single day, then it probably is a good idea to maybe slot that in there or after that, for example. But if you only have a coffee and check your emails on the weekend, then it's probably not ideal. You guys get the point anyway. Tip number 3, now this one's quite simple, but I think a lot of people overlook it, and that is saying your goals out loud and writing them down. So with these studies that they were talking about, they also mentioned that people that say them out loud on a regular basis or write them down somewhere where they can see them. So for example, me, I have a whiteboard that I write all my goals out on. Before I got this, I used to just write them on post-it notes or like on my bathroom mirror, and I find that works very well. Put it somewhere where you're gonna see it every single day. So even if you just glance past it, it's always there in the back of your mind, like, oh yeah, okay, gotta do this, or okay, that's the goal, keep focusing on that. So that's a big key, guys. And they also talked about that with the habit stacking. So instead of just thinking about it, if you say 3 times a week, every week, I'm going to go for a 20-minute jog after my morning coffee before I check my emails, the chances of actually doing it are a lot higher than if you just think, all right, I'm going for a morning jog starting in 2021. You guys get the picture, but those are the 3 tips. I hope they help. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Wait, by the way, I know all you tech heads will probably be like, oh, duh, that's basic, but I got this new gimbal. How sick is this? Controlling this shit from my phone.